Hello, and welcome to today's webinar, How Password Security Paired with Data Backup Can Help Your Business. I'm Sarah Duffy, Marketing Manager here at Entronis, and I'm happy to be moderating today's session. Before we get started, let's go over some brief housekeeping. If you have any questions during today's webinar, feel free to submit them in the questions panel to the right of the GoToWebinar screen. At the end of the webinar, we will be answering all your questions. At the conclusion of the webinar, you will be prompted to complete a brief survey. Please take a moment to tell us what you think, as we are continuously improving the content and quality of our online events. Before we get started, I'd like to have each of the presenters introduce themselves. Dan, we'll start with you.
Great, thanks, Sarah, and thanks for joining us, everybody. My name is Dan Wensley. I'm the president of PassPortal, and very much looking forward to today's session. The storyboard around security for the IT service provider, not only what you're delivering to your clients, but how to secure your clients internally is something that we at PassPortal are very familiar with and work with lots of partners, and we're very much looking forward to having Brent and Matt on the conversation today. So look forward to participating, and thanks for having us.
Hi, I'm Brent Fairbanks. I'm the owner of Electronic and Computer Specialties. I've been around in the electronics industry for a long time. My first job was manufacturing 8-inch floppy disk drives. So I've been around for a little while, and I've been working with PassPortal and with Entronis Barracuda for many years now, and I'm excited to present my information to the audience here on my experiences in dealing with these two fantastic companies.
All right, thank you, Brent and Dan. Hey, everybody, this is Matt McCarthy. I'm Director of Sales here at Entronis Barracuda. I want to thank everyone for joining, and pleasure to be here. I've been with Entronis prior to the acquisition, going on 7 years now. I've had the pleasure of working with hundreds of MSPs over the years and partnering with many of them. So over the last 7 years or so, I've dedicated a lot of my time in helping MSPs and educating them on our services, and hopefully I can transfer some of that knowledge today and help out some MSPs on the phone today. But thank you guys all for joining today, and looking forward to sharing some info.
Thanks. So Brent, we're going to jump over to you first. Recently, you wrote a guest blog post on our Entronis MSP blog. Can you tell us a little bit more about your blog post and your woes of password management?
Thanks, Sarah. I had an opportunity to write this article, and this has been a subject that has been a real sore spot for me. I'm going to break down, and I'm going to admit that I have not in the past been very proper in the management of passwords. And this really came to light for me a couple of years ago when I started, I actually got in touch with the PassPortal group, and I knew that I was storing my passwords in Notepad. So I could open it anywhere on anything. I always had it available to me, but I knew it was very insecure. And a lot of the things that you find with passwords are, it's not really as easy to implement as one would think. And having a tool to assist you has been something that has actually given me the ability to go through and to actually do password management for people. That's also one of the first things that I walk into offices, and when I see the little sticky notes around there, I say, "So, is that your passwords up there?" And I'll offer businesses the ability to say, "Look, if I give you this tool, will you promise me you'll use it?" And that's one of the things that I use to get into the door of companies, is to offer them something very simple that everybody has to have happen. And a lot of the business softwares that people are using today, for example, QuickBooks has now forcing people to change their passwords every 90 days. That's not easy for a lot of small business owners. They really need somebody to assist them in management of that particular operation of their business. So hopefully, does that answer?
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great, Brent. And so I think your story, I think, really resonates throughout the industry. I mean, as a 20-year veteran myself of the channel, and was a part of, you know, the evolution of managed services as we all sort of went through some woes in that about a decade ago, going from that break fix to automated service delivery. What kind of got left behind was the security of what we're delivering. And I compliment our entire industry for how far we've come over the last decade. You know, for Passportal, a lot of the attributes you just talked about, Brent, are resonating globally for IT service providers. So very quickly, a little bit about Passportal. We're 100% channel. We have over 1,000 partners in 32 different countries. We're integrated with some of those core managed services tools, Autotask, TigerPaw, ConnectWise Manage and Control. And it's interesting to hear and to further validate sort of the reasons why this technology was built by our founder, Colin Knox. He, like you, Brent, was a owner-operator of an MSP, had done it very successfully, was a one-man shop back in 2009. By 2011, he had 2,500 endpoints under management and about $4 million in revenue and 22 employees. And he hit the same exact tipping point where he had an issue internally with passwords, saw it as a problem and a way, frankly, for him to do better at service delivery. He was using, you know, backup disaster recovery and offering the types of solutions that Intronus provides, and maybe doing a better job on security for the client, to the client, than he was internally. And he had identified, I think, quite adequately all of the trials and tribulations around password security. Brent, some of those you touched on, right? I could access passwords, but how secure were they? So he had a technician leave his organization who knew client passwords going out the door. He had technicians wasting time searching for password. He had issues concerning undocumented client knowledge when a technician left or just daily operational. He wanted to provide improved security and reduce risk, most importantly for his own MSP to protect himself and on behalf of his clients. He wanted to implement change automation, password change automation, which is an interesting point you bring, Brent, when we talk about the end user. You know, that is happening, and that does cause confusion, frustration, and frankly, downtime. He wanted to make sure his technicians were following standard best practices and improve technician access, while improving control and auditability, and improve the accuracy and efficiency. So, Brent, maybe I'll ask you: does this laundry list of issues look familiar to you historically?
You know, that's the exact same thing that I have seen over time, and something that I want to make a point of here, and that's that when I got started, it was because I had the personal feelings and the knowledge that it needed to be changed. And what I want people on the audience to know right now is that that's not the case anymore. The government is actually mandating this now. This is not fun and games. This is the government saying, you either start doing this or we're going to come down and we're going to start performing corrective action on your business, which is kind of a scary proposition, you know?
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to flip ahead one slide and talk specifically about that. I mean, we are seeing this daily. Here's 4 examples from January, February, March, and April of this year of specifically what we're talking about, and the access control we give to our trusted technicians inside our own environments. You know, we love our employees, we trust them to do the job every day, but it does happen that we have what we call quote unquote rogue technicians. And here are 4 examples to the impact you're talking about, Brent. One was a $5.5 million HIPAA penalty a sign by poor access control being provided to the IT technician. The impact to the little boot company here in Texas literally took them out of business as a rogue technician just took it out on the business because of the access that he was allowed to maintain. And what's really impactful here for us to understand as IT service providers, it affects our business as well. We're not only putting potentially our clients at risk, there are cases of MSPs going out of business because of the impact of a rogue technician had, whether it's stealing clients or doing nefarious things. Not my favorite, but a great example of that is a fired IT worker who changed a password on his way out. He literally held them a ransom and said, I'll change the password back for you if you put $200,000 in my bank account. And that was in USA Today. So these, I think, Brent, you're not even underemphasizing, this is a real impact to our business potentially, correct?
Oh, it absolutely is, and something that is, I want you to think about this. In today's social media and everybody publishing and posting anything, I think we had a little bit of a conversation about this before on the webinar, but imagine the potential if somebody starts posting that your business allowed this to happen. What kind of a response might that happen? I mean, we're working so hard to build our businesses up and everything like that. And one social media post of how you improperly did something like this, that could shut your business. I mean, yeah, you've got fines and stuff, but it could shut your business down. Some of these things can put you in jail.
Yeah, again, we're going to get to the solution and the outcome and the positive opportunity here, I promise soon. But the statistics around rogue technicians inside our industry are pretty staggering. CompTIA, and most of us are off to ChannelCon next week, and the CompTIA event, their research told us last year that over 80% of MSPs in North America report of losing a technician at least in the last 12 months. Here's the scary stats around that. When those former technicians were polled, 89% of them admitted to retaining access to at least one application from a former employer, and a staggering 49% of them admitting to have logged into an account after leaving the company. So these are happening daily. The reports we're seeing in these types of news releases and factual information that's happening really put an emphasis on the opportunity we have. So we sort of ask, the channel itself, how does your IT service provider business secure and access passwords on behalf of your clients? How do you access and manage the documentation and the processes? How do you deliver password resets that we're going to talk about in today's presentation? And Brent, you started us right off with delivering security and password as a service. Our old tagline used to be the end of sticky note security, and it was interesting you brought that up at the forefront, walking into your clients' offices and still seeing sticky notes of passwords all over.
Yeah, the entire bezel of their monitors are surrounded by the sticky notes of everything, and with today's cell phones, all you got to do is have one of those people who walk into your business selling stuff, they pull out their cell phone pretending to be on a call, they can snap a picture of that stuff, zoom in on any of those things, and you're completely compromised, and you had no idea that anybody was even doing that to you.
Yeah, and this is why I'm so excited about doing today's presentation with Intronis. I mean, those of you who are partners of Intronis, and Matt will cover it for us, the value you're delivering with security and backup and data protection through Intronis is so fantastic, yet we are almost negligent in allowing them to have passwords stuck to their monitor, as Brent says. And the evolution of password management, I'm going to cover this both from an end user perspective and for us as managed service providers. We've gone through it. Brett, and again, I compliment you and appreciate your willingness to share how you used to store passwords, but for many MSPs, it was or still is sticky notes. That moved into spreadsheets or applications. Our PSA providers and RMMs certainly gave us some storage, which allowed accessibility and collaboration without a lot of manageability. You know, Colin was using Tier 1 PSA and RMM in his MSP. There was still a requirement for automation, security, manageability, collaboration, and improved, more secure security. And that's where the solution comes from.
Well, and most importantly too on that is an audit trail.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. The Ocular platform, as you well know, Brent, provides MSPs the ability to encrypt and store all your clients' passwords with, and I thank you for bringing it up, the audit logs, reporting, and automation that we're kind of famous for, delivering technician access management, security, instant lockout for rogue techs. I mean, that's, again, we're not going to make this a product pitch at all, but there is a solution out there to the challenges and the vulnerabilities. And the same thing goes with documentation. So recently we added a new module of documentation management to help, again, streamline the efficiency and effectiveness of your technicians by ensuring they have and follow the standard processes that you want. And I'll share a little insight. We had a board meeting at Passportal a number of months ago, and one of our board members is a former client of Colin's MSP. And when we talked to him about the documentation solution we were rolling out and integrating with our password security, he said, well, wait a minute, Colin, is that like the binders you used to have in my server room of all the processes and everything we had in there? He says, it's exactly that, but we're taking all of that process and procedure that doesn't kill a printer and kill trees anymore and putting it securely online and accessible to only the right technician. So that's been a real asset as well. So the Ocular plus Docs module allows you those linked credentials and ability. And then, Brent, let's talk about the services side. So there's two products that we've got that allow our partners to deliver password security services. And the first one I maybe want to talk about is self-service password reset tickets. Much like how MSPs store passwords today, many MSPs are just blindly delivering password reset services to their clients because there's no alternative. And for some, they're getting hundreds, if not thousands, of these reset tickets every single month or day. And I'll provide you two examples, and then maybe Brent ask you about yours. WinXnet, one of our larger partners, 10,000 endpoints under management, they were managing over 3,500 password reset tickets per year, 292 a month. And if we believe Forrester, the cost of a ticket is $25 to the MSP, and it costs about 15 minutes in downtime or to resolve that ticket. And even for Excel, a traditionally sized MSP of 2,500 endpoints, they were still getting 42 password reset tickets every single month. And it's to your point earlier, Brent, that a lot of applications and proper password hygiene is to increase the regularity of change. And change means I forget my password. Are you seeing that in your business at all, Brent?
Oh yeah, that's something that has, it's always been a problem.
Yeah. So the Blink solution really provides and this, I'm so excited about this product. Again, coming from an RMM background myself and being a part of this evolution to managed services, it's always been about service optimization, delivering better value. And what could there be a better way to do that than not cause any user significant downtime when they simply come back from vacation and forgotten their passwords. So this is a more secure and automated ability to deliver that password reset. Your technicians don't have to log into Active Directory. They don't get exposed to the password, which is a whole security vulnerability onto itself. Blink provides that full automated solution. So
something I wanted to mention with that too, is that when it comes to password reset for things, is that if there is a time delay in between when somebody is requesting that service and it happening, the ability for people to go through and to manage that themselves and get what is the word? The instant gratification of being able to get in and get your stuff done. There's nothing more frustrating for a lot of employees to sit back and get, I'm locked out for an hour, and their whole mindset about being productive on the job can really be effective. So it's not just about the password reset and stuff like that. It's empowering the employees to feel confident that they're going to be able to get their work done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's one of our favorite. It's real downtime. Like we as MSPs, you're delivering this 99.9 SLA uptime. Well, if the CEO of that business can't get into the network, that network could be on fire. It's irrelevant in the background because this is downtime for him. So that's a great point. I mean, that 15 minutes per ticket to reset is actually downtime, not only costing the MSP time, money, and effort, but causing downtime for your clients. So that's why, I mean, we love this product. Our partners love this product, and I think it's having a great impact on businesses. So Brent, let's talk about, and again, I appreciate you opening us up with this, the sticky notes all over the monitor at a end user location. Passportal site allows our partners to deliver branded password security as a service, with the added benefit in co-managed IT environments to synchronize passwords. So if any of you are working in co-managed IT, there's a vulnerability there for one side, your end user or even your technician, to change a password, locking out the other entity. Passportal site not only allows you to deliver password security services, but also allows you to deliver that co-managed IT environment. And next thing I wanted to do is maybe talk about the opportunity. So this is again why I'm so excited about this product with Passportal. There aren't a lot of things we're doing these days in our industry that are greenfield opportunities. And our friends at CMIT, which is a national franchise of MSPs, they run a survey every year to about 130,000 small media businesses. And last year they asked in their survey, how do you manage your passwords as a small medium business? Well, these numbers were staggering. Literally the day the survey came in, our friends at CMIT called and said, Dan, you're not going to believe the results we got around password management for the end user. 5% answered they use sticky notes. 6% said they use one password for every application, from their banking to their website to their ERP solution. 17% spreadsheets, 60% threw their hands up. We don't have a plan. We don't know. So that's opportunity greenfield. What's really telling for me and where I focused in on was this last point. 12% of our clients had actually purchased a solution directly. There's lots of password managers out there. There's lots of consumer products and enterprise products. And your clients have basically said, I have a problem with password management internally. My service provider isn't giving me the solution. I've gone and purchased it direct, which tells us there's market opportunity for it. So I'm so excited about Site for our partners because of that green field with the proof statement that it is something our clients are looking for. Brandon, is that what you're seeing when you see those sticky notes?
Oh yeah, and I hope people are looking at that 60% number. That's a big that's a big opportunity there.
Yeah.
Also, another thing is that one password concept of things. That's something that a lot of people are not paying attention to with things. Me alone, I think I have in my Passportal list of the websites that I log into, I think there are 120. Okay, well, one of those companies is going to get compromised at some point, some way, somewhere, sometime. Somebody's going to get compromised. It would be really nice to know that compromise was only going to affect that one site.
Right. Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. The personal vault and the one-click login solution we've got, I mean, really not only give you the accessibility you want, but the complexity of password. I mean, this is just such a common place for all of us that we have a list of, or we use the same password over and over because we can only remember that one password. And when one changes, then again, we forget it. So Passportal's site allows partners, as you can clearly see here, to deliver a full password security solution under your brand, which again, I'm so excited about as a channel veteran. Your brand in front of every single user in an application they're going to use multiple times every day. So it's, you know, not only are you going to get references of your services from the guy signing your check and paying the bill every month, whether it's the CEO or CTO at your client, but every user is going to know your business. And with password reset, you're giving them better scalability and automation there. And with Passportal's site, allowing them to access the passwords they use every day. So that's the Passportal and Ocular suite. Password security and technician access management. Adding the documentation module allows you to link credentials and processes. The Blink self-service password reset and ticket automation solution, and then password security and credential synchronization services. And Brent, I'm not going to go through this laundry list, but we at Passportal are always striving just to deliver three things, and that's helping MSPs lower their service delivery costs and operational costs, improve security for both them, yourselves, and your clients, and increase the value that you're delivering to your clients, whether monetarily or service or security, increase that value. And I really appreciate Brent taking the time to participate with us and Intronis today. And I really am excited also to talk about the Intronis solution and how a full bundled security package can be delivered. So not only backup and disaster recovery, but we're doing all these great things for you on password management. So Brent, I thank you a lot. We've got a lot of great resources for everybody, but would certainly like to turn it over to the Intronis team to continue the conversation.
Thank you very much, Dan. Appreciate that. Great job. Again, everybody, this is Matt McCarthy, Director of New MSP Sales here at Intronis Barracuda. Just want to spend some time here today just walking you through some of the backup and security service offerings we have, and how we can help you out today. So yeah, data loss is expensive. I think we all know that. We've all seen these statistics. Being in the MSP community for the past 7 years, I'm one step removed to working with SMBs every single day. And I know that statistic there towards the bottom of the screen, 81% of all data breaches happen to SMBs is, that to me really stands out. We forget that hackers are running a business just like all of us on the phone are, and their sole business is try to steal our money and hack into our businesses. And 8 out of 10 times they're attacking SMBs, and that's because they know they're vulnerable. But I'd be curious on your end, Brent. You're working with a lot of SMBs. You're seeing all these attacks. What are you seeing out there? Is this does this ring home for you?
Absolutely, and something that hopefully everybody is aware of is that, when you go out and you're going to, let's think of this in terms of what a thief or a criminal is going to be doing. If you're going to break into some place, are you going to go through and try to break into a hardened compound somewhere? You're going to go after the low-hanging fruit. And unfortunately, a lot of SMBs think that they are too small to be compromised. And that's just not true. They're actually one of the biggest targets. The big guys, they've got hardened structures and things. It's the SMB that they're going to go through, and these guys, they're going to go out and they're going to get $500 to $700 when they encrypt you. And the FBI, law enforcement, doesn't even want to hear about that kind of a thing. People who I have seen who've been in this situation feel really naked out there in the world when they have had this happen to them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. And, you know, we're hearing that on the phone every single day here too. And not only that, I mean, the threats are getting significantly more sophisticated, right? And you guys, MSP providers, are extremely busy dealing with, you know, multiple different applications, different environments, you know, physical servers, virtual servers, different applications and operating systems. Bring your own device is becoming more complicated now. And these hackers are relentless too, right? They're relentlessly hitting us through all different channels, whether it's through email, through our networks. You know, they're coming at us in all directions, and it's a numbers game for them. They're just hoping that if they hit us enough times in enough different directions, one of us will make that mistake. And ultimately, you know, as you were saying earlier, Brent, it's not, you know, a matter.
It's not
a matter
if,
of time,
it's when.
right?
Yeah.
It's when, exactly. What I want to do is just talk a little bit about, focus mostly today on data backup, talk a little bit about some of the security offerings that we have as well. But you know, we do have a unique approach to data backup. Just like I was saying, gone are the days when you think I'll never get hacked and I'm too small of a business and not paying attention to me. Really need to take an approach in today's day that it will happen to me at some point, and what are the steps I'm doing to protect myself. So talk about two different types of data backup, and I'll pass it over here to Brent to share some of his experiences with the two different offerings that we have today. But to really simplify it for you, the differences between the two different backup offerings is we're providing a backup appliance, what we're calling our Barracuda MSP backup service. And that's a turnkey solution where, you know, we're shipping you out an appliance, plug and play, real simple, easy to use. The other offering is our Echo software only solution. Very simple and easy to use as well, but it's a software only solution where you're downloading an agent onto a desktop or a server, and it's more bring your own hardware in that environment. So both offerings have their strengths and where they're a good fit. And, you know, I'll turn it over to you, Brent. I know you're utilizing both offerings from us today. Maybe you can kind of share a little bit of your experiences.
Something that in doing backup and recovery, something that became clear to me over many years here is how important both methodologies are. When I say that, I mean, you must have a cloud type of a backup in case of major disaster. You have a 9/11 type situation. Your building is reduced to a smoking hole in the ground. Okay, for that type of a situation, you must have a cloud type of a backup. But then also we realize that bandwidth is finite, and if we have to restore from the cloud, it might take a while to do, especially if it's a large type of a restore. And so we have learned that having some type of a local backup is a critical and important component in that. And the Echo platform gives you the ability to go through and to define backups, and you can specify that a backup is going to go to a local store or into the cloud, either one on there. And that's something that is again, it's a really important thing to do for stuff. And what was really an exciting thing for me is when Barracuda acquired Intronus. I had been with Intronus before they were part of Barracuda. And when Barracuda came along, they included the appliance, the local side of things. I'm going to ask anybody to sit down and to compare the cost of trying to generate your own local store. What's the cost of a NAS? What's the cost of populating the drives in there? And then look at what it costs for you to get a Barracuda appliance that includes the cloud backup. Oh, and by the way, don't forget that with that NAS, you actually have to pay for the whole thing up front. And with the appliance, I got one small monthly fee. I don't have to lay out a big a chunk of money to go through and to get this into the client's hands. And I don't have to go to the client and say, oh, by the way, Mr. Client here, I need you to pay me $1,500 so that we can store your data. With the appliance, you can sit back and say, hey, this one monthly fee, there's nothing to get into it here. It's fast and it's very, it's not seen by the network, so the chances of it getting encrypted are a lot better. So I like both of them. I think there is a place for both of the things here. When we're doing file and folder type backups and things, I'm typically using just the Intronus agent. If we are doing something where it's an imaging type of a backup, it's typically with the Barracuda appliance. I also got to tell you, the Barracuda appliance, that thing is incredibly fast. Most of backups that we do are taking like 3 minutes to do. We do several a day for our clients, and the amount of storage space that's used on the appliance is very attractive too. I've been paying attention to that, and that's another thing that people need to kind of look at for things.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, thank you very much for those nice words, Brent. That is true. The Barracuda MSP Backup appliance has some significant deduplication that it does, and really keeping it very efficient on what it stores on the appliance and in the cloud. Just to provide in and fill some gaps there. So the MSP Barracuda Backup appliance is the turnkey, all-inclusive offering that does include the appliance. It will ship out to you. We do sell that at a fixed monthly fee, so there are no upfront costs for the appliance. It's a simplified, all-inclusive monthly fee. And as Brent was saying, when you compare a software-only solution like the Echo and the costs that are included to bring your own storage, the Barracuda appliance is
very attractive.
Very attractive and very cost-effective. Also with the Barracuda MSP backup appliance, there is a virtual appliance for anybody that actually does want to stay more on the software side of things but wants to continue to use Barracuda. The virtual appliance would utilize a virtual host inside of your customer's data center or your customer's location. It would have the ability to back up to the cloud as well. Both solutions include not only the appliance and all the storage on the appliance, but also we roll in the cloud portion as well. So for instance, a 1 terabyte Barracuda MSP appliance would also include 1 terabyte of cloud storage all rolled into the monthly fee. So very attractive. There are some use cases also for the Intronus Echo platform. What's nice about the Intronus Echo platform is that we've been selling that service for over 10 years to MSPs. We've been dedicated to the channel, and that's the #1 reason why Barracuda bought us. That solution is fully integrated today with ConnectWise and Autotask, and we have some integrations with some RMM tools out there. We are rolling out a brand new revamped integration with LabTech in the coming months as well, making it easier to deploy and monitor the Echo platform. And there's still some use cases out there where direct to the cloud, for instance, is popular, maybe on laptops or desktops, where you can just place an agent on a machine and directly back up to the cloud. And then there are some opportunities out there where a client of yours may already have a significant amount of internal storage and they want to utilize the bring your own storage model. We can support that as well. So that's a little bit about the different backup offerings. Let me also talk to you a little bit about the vision. Why did Barracuda purchase Intronus, and what is our vision in going forward? So Barracuda looked at the MSP market, and they knew that that was a market that they could be successful in, and they had the right services and offerings to bring to the MSP market. But what they didn't have is an expert that already knew the MSP market. And that expert that they found could be that player was Intronus. We've been in the MSP space for over 10 years, selling directly MSPs. We never sell directly to end users. And our whole focus has been around a centralized management, single tenant, multi-tenant type environment for MSPs. So they knew that we were the expert. The Intronus Barracuda MSP focused division, it has not only backup and recovery, but we have a full security suite as well. And we talked about some of those statistics earlier, and the hackers, 8 out of 10 times focusing on SMBs because they're vulnerable. You need to protect your MSP's environments not only through email, through their network as well. So today we are already offering a full suite through a single vendor, dedicated and designed for the MSP of email security, network security with firewalls, and our backup and recovery services. Everything is a flat fee, fixed monthly rate for all of our services. And every single day, we try to get a little bit better with integrating the Barracuda solutions into that MSP environment, multi-tenancy, branding, integrations, everything that an MSP is looking for. We try to do that a little bit better every single day, and providing you with a single console for that. We also offer some enablement resources. I'd like to highlight that as well. When you become a partner with Intronus, we offer a searchable knowledge base for troubleshooting any questions you have on any of our service offerings. We have our Intronus University. It's our self-service certification training curriculum. This has been a huge hit that we rolled out a few years ago. MSPs are extremely busy. Their engineers are extremely busy. We know, dealing with MSPs for a long time, that when the customer calls, that's your priority. And signing your engineers up for 3-day courses in a classroom isn't really the most effective time for them. And it's not really plausible when you're putting out fires all the time. So, our online certification program has been, a hit for everybody, because when our MSPs go through that and become certified, they feel really good about it. And obviously it brings down support costs for us. So it's a win for everybody.
Something along the lines of your certifications of things too, that you guys give some pretty nice little plaques. It's not just a simple PDF piece of paper. It's a nice little plaque that you give out when somebody has completed their certification process. So.
And there's some goodies in there, I believe, too, if we're still doing that. But yeah, and like I said, it makes your engineers feel really good. You'd be surprised how many phone calls we've gotten or tweets on Twitter and Facebook likes and things like that, where people taking pictures of their plaques and, they feel good about it, getting that certification. So like I said, it's good for everybody. And then lastly, we have a full library of sales and marketing enablement materials for our MSPs. It's incredible how many resources are available inside of, this enablement area for our MSPs. A lot of rebrandable collateral. We recognized very early on, many years ago, that our success is the success of our MSPs. And if they can't sell our services, then we're not going to be growing our business. So we put a lot of effort and time into this area. And on the next slide here, we do have an example of what we call an event in a box. We do these marketing events in a box quite often. There's quite a few examples in this area, but this one here that we're showing you is for Cybersecurity Month. And it gives you, a full marketing campaign you can take advantage of. We also have resources here where people in our marketing department can walk you through how to use these enablement pieces and how they can help you be successful and create a full marketing campaign on selling these services. So true partnership, where we really want to try to partner with you and make you successful. And I think that's it on my end. With that, I will pass it over to Sarah and open it up to any questions. But Again, Brent, thank you so much for helping out here, and hopefully that helped answer anybody's questions.
You know, you mentioned all the different collaterals. Just for fun, I popped into my Intronus folder on my computer here. I got 220 documents in there. There are playbooks for the MSP themselves. There are documents for you to rebrand and pass out to your customers. I get at least some 2 or 3 things a week from you guys that is good information, either new or reinforcing.
Hey, Brent, I have a great idea on where you can store all that information conveniently for all your technicians.
I'll bet I should be doing that in my Ocular platform, shouldn't I?
Bingo. Thanks. Great job, guys.
So we are ready to answer any of your questions. You can submit them on the right-hand side of the GoToWebinar screen in the questions panel. In the meantime, if you're interested in learning more about PassPortal, you can go to their website at passportalmsp.com. You can give them a call there, or you can also send them an email at info@passportalmsp.com. Same with Intronus MSP Solutions by Barracuda. If you're interested in learning more about what Matt presented here today on either our backup appliance or our Intronus Echo platform, you can request a demo at intronus.com/demo, or you can give us a call here and someone from our sales team can get back to you to answer your questions.
Sarah, is it okay if I ask the first question of Brent? I know I'm breaking protocol here. But
Go ahead, Dan.
Now I'm worried, Dan.
So I'm just interested. I mean, I think did a very helpful presentation and very educational to the industry on security, both internally and externally with the Intronus solutions. How do you measure the relevance of security for your business, Brent? Both the delivery, like what's the makeup of security in your service delivery model overall? Is it high? Is it an add-on? Is it a lead service? Where's security today in your mind for your business?
Well, let me tell you who it is that my target customers are. My target customers are accountants, bookkeepers, and tax professionals. And these people are, I know there's a lot of information and a lot of publicity around the healthcare industry and stuff like that. However, I want you to think a little bit about what does your healthcare provider know about you? They know what your name is, and probably most importantly, they know who your insurance company is. Maybe they can file some false claims or something like that. Your accountant, he knows everything about you, every single bank account, everything in there. And so for myself and my clients, security is paramount. And not only do we have to be putting in the security pieces in place, but something that's also critically important with every single one of these security pieces is some form of an audit log where we can go through and we can say, yes, we've put these things in place, and these are all of the different things that come in and have occurred since we've put these things in place. And if any kind of an auditor comes in and says, oh, so are you, how are you handling client data or whatnot, we can actually show them in a piece of paper saying, look, we've been keeping track of this for the last number of years that we've been doing that. So for my clientele, I think that that's critical. If we don't do that, they're going to be out of business. And I think that a lot of MSPs have an opportunity here to start taking in that kind of a mindset and start applying it to their business. If nothing else, it'll make them sleep better at night.
Yeah, I think that's completely accurate. What's interesting, and I just add to it, is that most of the security audits that are done, whether it be in the healthcare industry, PCI, Sarbanes, one of the first questions in that audit is who had access when, and you need to show me, whether it's the password or the document or the healthcare record. So I think that's a great point you make about that. The audit trail and that capability is at the forefront of the majority of these security regulatory compliance issues. So thank you for that.
You know, and maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but they actually pay more attention to the audit log than whether you're really doing it. How important that audit log is cannot be understated. So.
Right. Oh, thank you. Sorry, Sarah. I know I hijacked the Q&A, but I appreciate that. I think that was excellent.
No worries. It gave us some opportunity to fill in the questions panel here, so that was perfect.
Good.
So we do have a few questions popping into the questions panel. We do have one question here about whether the webinar is being recorded, and the webinar is being recorded and will be sent out within 24 hours post-webinar to all the attendees here. First question, I'm going to pass it over to you, Dan. The question here is, how do you reset the password automatically?
So the password reset solution is done through mobile device through SMS. So it is a part of the Ocular platform. So there's an authentication within. So you provide your user with a unique ID and a unique number that they are going to basically text message reset. It is then authenticated inside the Ocular platform against the user, and a Active Directory one-time secure password is provided to the user that they can use in a time-bomb fashion, and then obviously change it to a password that doesn't have a lot of Z's and Z's and other unique identifiers in it. So it's all done through mobile device. And today available for Windows networks, peer-to-peer, and we will very soon, by the end of this summer, have Office 365 and Azure AD as a part of that solution as well, which we're really looking forward to.
Great. Next question here is for Matt. The question is, you mentioned about the BBS appliance, which is our backup appliance, having 1 terabyte storage on the device and 1 terabyte in the cloud. Is this a new configuration, or has it always been like that on device to cloud storage?
Yeah, great question. So I could speak more towards the MSP division. When we went through the acquisition and started offering Barracuda services, it was really important that we offered these services with the MSP in mind. And one thing that is extremely important for the MSP is to have a consistent monthly bill, and upfront charges oftentimes are difficult for MSPs to deal with. So we've gone with a consistent monthly recurring revenue offering. And the way we bundle the Barracuda appliance, the MSP Barracuda appliance, is to include the storage on the device and the cloud, unlimited cloud storage with that device as well. So I actually somewhat misspoke when I said 1 terabyte on the device and 1 terabyte in the cloud. It's actually unlimited in the cloud, so you can store additional retentions and revisions up into the Barracuda cloud.
So if there are any additional questions, you can submit them in the questions panel. Great, good. Glad we were able to answer you, Ian. And we'll give everyone another minute or so to submit any of the questions they may have.
If anyone out there is still interested in figuring out what it's going to take for them to move their business into an MSP business model, let me give you some advice. I think that there are 4 tools that you need to get immediately. You need to have something that is going to enable you to back up. Number 1. Over time, that is the only thing that has proven itself as the most important thing that you can have, is to have a copy of your data. Number 2, I think that password management is another critical thing. Those are 2. If you get corrupted or damaged, that's what your backup is, and protecting your passwords is going to help keep you from a lot of the common things that are happening today. You also need to have some form of an RMM tool so that you can instantly respond to people and pay attention to what's going on over time. And then I also think that you need to have some kind of an endpoint security product, some type of an antivirus. If you can get yourself those 4 tools, You can put yourself into an MSP position tomorrow. Learn how to use those things, start promoting them, walk into people and offer them password management and backup. You go through, those are the two most important things that you can get for your clients. Just my advice.
That's great feedback, Brian. I mean, as a historically an RMM vendor myself, it's interesting to still hear that people aren't taking advantage of the RMM solutions that are out there, no matter whose they are. It's such a key contributor, and again, where I really see the evolution of the business taking care of our customers even better. I don't know how you do it without it these days. So I think that's great feedback.
For the business standpoint, I'm in Southern California area. Even my closest customers take us 40 minutes to drive there. That's an hour and a half if you have to actually go out to a customer, and that's not often billable time. So that's something that you can really do, and customers really like the ability for you to go in and say, oh, you can fix this right now? Yeah, that's
you're giving me flashbacks. That was my line from 14 years ago, selling level platforms back in the day. Anyway, I digress.
Yep.
Well, I want to thank you, Dan. I want to thank you, Brett, and I want to thank you, Matt, for taking the time today to discuss this great topic. You know, a lot of great stats, and a lot of things for the MSPs to start thinking about and how to improve their business. So I want to thank everyone. If there are any questions that were submitted that we didn't get a chance to answer, we will follow up separately. And with that, I wish everyone a great day.
Thanks everyone for attending.
Thanks, Brett. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Sarah.